Hey, connection still weak, but it's the radio on the radio, no radio. This evening, I'm broadcasting from New York. I'm out here for a charity event, so excuse me for being in the car. Today's topic is 6 payment methods to help manage your spending. We will be talking and discussing ways of payment to help manage and budget your money to prevent overspending. So, method 1, using cash. When you use cash, it helps for you to manage how much you're spending. I'm gonna give you a small example. If I take $10 out with me, when I run out of the $10, it's over for the day. Another way to help you manage money using cash is you have a whole bunch of bills for the month. Write down what the individual bill is, put the money that's in the envelope, and have a designated envelope full of cash that's allotted to whatever you're spending or trying to spend or going to spend towards, right? Second method is using a credit card. Using a credit card isn't as bad as everybody thinks. The problem with using credit card is the interest rates that come with it. And on top of the interest rates, how much interest is added on to the over amount of spending towards your bill at the end of the month, right? The good thing about credit cards is they help you purchase items that are bigger, like large purchase items. What I want to add to the large purchase items as a benefit, the downside of it is that they don't necessarily help you. They don't help you build credit if you use them ineffectively. But this topic is not today is not about talking about credit spending or credit building. I'm only using it as a form of method. The good thing about using credit cards, though, is they help protect you from fraud, usually or typically for spending over $50. So it's like if somebody charges your card for $100 and you necessarily didn't charge it itself, you could just call your company and they could usually help you right away, and they'll cut your card up or send you a new card and just tell you to cut your card up that you have right there. So you can get a lot of money back, usually typically over $50 if you report it within a timely manner. With checks are considered to be more old-fashioned, but as far as checks go, usually the older generation, it's like I forgot what it says in the magazine I was reading not too long ago. I believe it says that the older generation that are usually in their late 40s and up still currently use checks as form of payment in different establishments. The bad thing about checks is that it leaves your information at risk because it has your routing number and your banking information on it. So if you were to use a check, or even if you void a check, it still has your account information on there and routing number. I'm not familiar with the ways information can be stolen, but the scammers out here now, they definitely will could take pretty much anything they want to take it with a little bit of information. So it just helps not to leave those leave checks laying around or destroy checks or have them shredded. A lot of people still use shredding machines, or they use like some type of company that comes in shreds paper. So when using checks, just make sure that you destroy the checks so you don't leave your identity at risk as far as leaving information laying around. Not to mention some places don't accept checks as payment, so that kind of makes it inconvenient. When it comes to debit cards, the good thing about debit cards, it takes the money directly out your account almost right away. So it's like you put the numbers in, whatever your 4-digit number PIN is, it takes the money right out your account. That helps you keep track of your spending as well. Depending on what type of bank you're using, they usually have some type of budget or a money tracker spending set up into the whatever app you're using when it comes to your bank, right? The downside about using debit cards is, as far as fraud protection, it's usually weaker because somebody has to manually input the number for the most part if you're using it as a debit. When it comes to the fraud protection, you have only, I think, a few days. I could double check my information. But you don't have as long as you would have for a credit card to report a fraud, right? Which makes it inconvenient if you want to see. I'm over here. Am I shaking up? Can anybody see? All right, I'm having a connection issue. So it's like if you aren't used to checking on your account or looking at your account as often, it's hard for you to catch a fraudulent behavior with the debit and be able to report it in a timely manner. All right, so the security on a debit card is weaker than it is on the credit card. The next thing I want to talk about is prepaid card. There's another form of payment. Prepaid cards are great if you want to help yourself budget and likes to like using it as a form of cash, right? Now, the greatest thing about using the prepaid is that if I put 10 to 20, if I put, let's say $20, if I put $20 on the prepaid, once the $20 is over, it's over. It's just like carrying cash in my pocket for the day. It just allows me to now swipe my card at places that don't accept cash. Or, no, excuse me, that don't accept cash. But places that also accept card as payment, or they necessarily don't accept cash. Some places still don't accept cash. You know, I don't know. They kind of switched over all the way. And then you have the opposite. Some people don't accept cards and they just kind of like all cash. That being said, prepaids are great if you're trying to help budget yourself. What I do or have done in the past to help me spend and keep track of my savings was $100 on the prepaid, $100 on the prepaid, and use the $100 a week. I know how much I was spending by keeping track of the prepaid and letting it go throughout that week. All right. And once like cash, when you run out of the money for the prepaid, it's over. Like, just leave it alone, and that helps you know where you stand with that. The last form of payment is apps. Now, we live in 2016. I don't know if everybody has started to pay attention to or noticed that a lot of people use these apps to pay for different things. I know Starbucks is like one of the first places I've seen it in, and not by excuse me, I got a text message, followed by like McDonald's and other restaurants and other places that are accepting the apps now that you can use, and some of the apps would be like Samsung Pay, or if you have an Apple phone, Apple Pay. And what you would do is you just take the form of payment on your phone and you tap it to the machine or whatever. So single touch can use to pay for or purchase your information. Now, this is good because it's using it in form of a I guess you could say in form of a debit. They take the money out your account. It protects your banking information. It protects your personal information. The downside about this form of method is that a lot of people don't have these machines in these retail locations, and then the people who have machines, they might not have your technology. So it's ups and downs with that as well when it comes to those form of payment. The last thing I want to say before I head out, guys, is it's secure to use all these different payments, but you gotta read the fine print to know what you're using. Obviously, cash doesn't have any fine print, but the other forms of payments, you have to, like, prepaids might have a hidden fee. You gotta make sure you know what you're using and how you're using it. If you're using credit card, please check the interest rate, or you're keeping tabs of how often you're spending, and don't get got. Like, in a lot of these companies with these credit cards, and for people especially with bad credit, they'll give you a high interest rate, and you don't even know, like, it might cost $175 to activate the card, and on top of activating the card, it might cost you maybe $100 the first year for an annual fee, and then years after that it may cost $200 to keep the card active. It's a lot of fees that come with these cards if you don't pay attention. So please just pay attention to what you're using, how you're using, the forms and methods of your spending. The last thing I also want to say before I head out is manage your money. Don't let your money manage you. That's as important as it gets. So like, share, comment, hate me, love me, share me. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know if there's more methods of payment you would like me to review. Next week's topic is going to be something different. I'm still up in the air. I haven't made a decision. I'm going to be making next week's topic. It should be sometime maybe Friday evening or Saturday morning. I haven't decided yet because of the holiday, Thanksgiving. But just keep in contact with me. Let me know what's going on. And like, I'm here for you. That's all I got for you. It's the radio on the radio, no radio. And have a good night.